Diana Eck writes of the concept of darshan in India, a kind of worship through seeing an image of the divine and, in turn, being seen by it. While I was reading about darshan, I found my mind returning again and again to a particular lecture I'd recently heard in another class, about a topic that was similar but with a few key differences. And, of course, it involved another society altogether, that of the ancient Maya. Among the ancient Maya there was a concept, Yishnal, that in many ways resembles Eck's description of darshan. Yishnal, as currently translated, is something like a gaze or a visual field. Only kings and gods possessed Yishnal, and unlike in India, the gaze was primarily one-sided, from the king or god to the people. Yishnal was much more than a gaze, however. It had a very active component, much like that of darshan. Eck describes the significance of sight in Indian society by giving a traditional example in which the testimony of someone who saw a deed is valued much more highly than someone who knows about it from another source. The power of Yishnal was even greater than this. The gaze of a king was not a testament to the truth, it actually created the truth. Things happened because the king saw them happen. For example, the translation of Maya glyphs has revealed stories of coronations, in which a royal ascendant must be crowned in the gaze of another, more powerful Maya king. People would travel long distances not to look at a king, but to have a king look at them. The visual field of a ruler was perceived to be frighteningly powerful and also an active, creative force in the world. For example, let's have a look at this Maya king. He was a famous ruler of Copan in modern-day Honduras in the early 8th century. His name is, well, that. I've got no hope at all of pronouncing it correctly, so I'm just going to call him 18 Rabbit, which is a nickname Mayanists made up before they figured out the correct translation. It's based on the glyph of his name, which contains the Mayan bar and dot number system for 18, and apparently a picture of a rabbit. Your guess is as good as mine on that matter. Anyway, this is a monument that 18 Rabbit had erected in his honor. He's looking out on the main plaza of Copan, so everything there happens under his Yishnal. Sightlines like this were important in Maya architecture, so kings could keep constant watch over their subordinates and their cities. Of course, Copan looks more like this now, but you get the idea. Now here's the thing. Maya kings were supposed to be divine. As in any culture, this caused a problem, because they had to get around the fact that they were actually just people. I would hypothesize that one of the reasons sacred images and the Yishnal were so important for the Maya was that they were employed as a way to solve this problem. First of all, the distinction between images of a king and the reality of a king was really not a distinction at all. This is true in many facets of Maya society. Although it seems strange to us, to the Maya, a person wearing a god's costume was a god, and the image of a king was a king. With this in mind, sacred images could be used to make the human king a divine figure by giving him an actual Yishnal. In India, Eck writes that a god in human form can be identified by its unblinking eyes. The same is true of a statue. The divine nature of a Maya king depicted on a monument is that he does not blink, ever. The statue king thus wields divine powers that the real king does not. Statues can be placed anywhere to extend the Yishnal of the king far beyond the eyesight of a human. For example, the kings of large Maya cities would often commission sculptures of themselves to be placed in far-off vassal sites, in a kind of creepy Big Brother is watching sort of way. In this sense, the function of sacred images among the Maya seems to be the opposite of their function in India. The images that Eck discusses are ordinary when they are created or found, and are imbued with otherworldliness when they are inhabited by gods. For the Maya, it is the image itself that makes the king who inhabits it divine. It gives them Yishnal, and more than that, it gives them immortal Yishnal. In the Maya world, images don't preserve one snapshot moment in time. Instead, they depict continuous action that is always occurring in the present moment. So 18 Rabbit gazed out on Copan with his magical eyes, and he is still gazing at it today, although what he sees is vastly different.